Okay, I think it's rolling. We doing this? Man, has been a while, hasn't it? Whenever I took a break from social media, I really didn't know what to expect whenever I was going to come back. There's been a lot going on lately in politics and culture in general, and taking a break was really with the purpose of spending more time on my own life. And there's a lot of chatter and spending less time on my phone in general. And how do you expect the unexpected? Come on. This is December 2020. We had just come out of an election that people were saying was rife with fraud. Things couldn't get more divided, could they? How little I knew. How little I knew.
No. No.
Truth, wisdom,
liberty,
truth, wisdom,
liberty,
comedy.
Okay, it's been a month, so it's been a long time since I've talked about really much of anything on the Renowned Review channel. Whether YouTube, Rumble, or BitChute, I choose for you to subscribe to the one that you wish, but you can of course follow the Facebook page, which will stay up for the foreseeable future. This is the way I view social media, so there's been a few things that I've learned, and I'm going to kind of share with you what I've been thinking of, but I have been spending too much time on social media, but it's not just that. I've also used it incorrectly. I've been doing too much just scrolling through it for a time waster and not enough using it as a tool to reach and actually have more connection. So one thing I'm thinking about too is with all of the censorship, for instance, you could not have told me, or if you had, in November or December that Trump was going to be banned while he was the sitting president. I would have said there's no way. They wouldn't do that. They can't do that. They have to see that as being a bad decision. But I was wrong. So with that being said, this is how I see this. This is a restaurant. I'm talking about this on Facebook. And people are wearing something and saying things in a restaurant that the management does not like. And they're not anything bad. They're not shouting the N-word. They're not shouting the FAG word towards gay people in a derogatory way. They're expressing an opinion that is unpopular. And because of that, I'm sitting at my table eating my steak and potatoes, looking up and seeing people being escorted out for having certain political opinions. And my thought is not, well, I'm going to leave too. My thought is, okay, then you're going to have to pick me up and kick me out of here too, because I'm not leaving voluntarily. You kick me out. You're going to have to do that. That's how I feel about social media. That's one thing I've realized, but also I want to be putting out content. I'm going to be looking through here, keeping up with my friends, sure, but for one thing, it's going to be less time. But in addition, I'm using Facebook differently, more as a way to speak and also as a way to listen, but I'm going to be speaking more than I was. I actually was very silent on Facebook for a long time. I would share memes and that's about it. Of course, the memes are not stopping. Some great memes have come out of this. For instance, the Bernie Sanders mittens sitting like this. One of the funniest things I've seen. I bet you there's great memes that have come out of that I haven't even seen though, because I've been off social media, but it was funny. In addition, I've heard about the whole GameStop, I want to say GameSpot, but it's not. GameStop thing going on, along with Robinhood. I'm sure there's some good memes coming out of that too. I've heard about them from people, but yeah, there's Gab, there's Parler, which are other options. Telegram is another option that I'll be using, I'm sure. So I did hear that Parler is back, so whoop-de-doo, I'm glad that that's something that cannot be controlled. But again, it should be used correctly. It should be used not as a way to be angry and hateful, but as a free speech platform, which if it's used correctly, and from what I've heard from the statements I've heard of the CEO of Parler, he sounds like a good man with a good head on his shoulders. And Gab, if I remember correctly, is owned by a Christian man, so we'll see. I want to go into a little bit of what I said. This is pre-recorded, obviously, because I've got this, whereas in the most recent video, or the one before this, I don't, but I talk about identity politics. I've got the script written out so I know what I'm going to say. But this is the thing. I am a 6'7" white Christian straight man. And I was born in America. I'm an American. And I'm a libertarian. But what do you feel pride in? Can I say I am a proud white man? I don't feel embarrassed by the fact that I'm white, but I don't see being white as a source of pride either. I am a straight man, but I'm not proud of my straightness in that. I'm not ashamed of it either, though. It's just a fact of life. I, myself, everything about me, my height, eye color, hair style, hair length, whatever, not hairstyle, but hair type, I guess is the term for it, is how God made me. So it's not something to be ashamed of. Can I take pride in it? In a way, sure, a good kind of pride, but not in an arrogant sort of way. This is the problem. So to be a proud Hispanic man, or a proud black man, or a proud gay man makes no sense to me, for the same reason that being a proud white straight man is similarly ridiculous. And so this is the problem that I have with the left in this country, is that this is an extreme double standard. To be a proud straight white man is not only a travesty, but makes you a fascist, whereas to be a proud gay black man or proud lesbian black woman is not bad. That is a good thing. It's got to cut one way, or both ways, really. It cannot only cut one way, is what I'm saying. This is the problem that I have. But you'll see this double standard in other things, too. For instance, what happened at the Capitol, completely unacceptable, should be denounced roundly, which, by the way, from most people on the right, it was denounced. However, the literal riots, when it came to, literal is overused, the riots that happened in Minneapolis, in Seattle, overlooked and dismissed because Antifa is just an idea, right?
Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Half the people that were tweeting at me in response to what you were saying to me were literal Nazis and white supremacists, like linking
Look,
me.
man, it's this guilt by association. Why don't you denounce all the communists in your movement? They
What's
killed
wrong with
100 million people.
Wait, what
what's
is
wrong with communism?
communism?
Is that what you just said?
Wait, what does communism have to do with any of this?
Well, what do Nazis have to do with this?
The people, it's a political and race ideology. Communism is just an economic thing.
I gotta say, these people deserve to be ridiculed. It's probably not the nicest thing to say, but the people that do believe that deserve to be ridiculed and laughed at. And that's one of the reasons I'm here, to make you laugh, and we're going to laugh at these people together. But we're going to laugh at everything together. It is sad that for us to get a cheap laugh, a lot of stuff that is bad is going to have to happen. But we do know that God is in control, so we can trust him for that. And so like I said in the last video, the one when I just got back from hiatus, God's in control. Work on solving your own problems, but the ones that you cannot solve, God can, and so turn to him and ask him for help. But I wanted to move on to something. It's been a long time since I've gone over any news headlines, so I wanted to talk to you about some recent news and kind of you can sort of listen to my reactions from it. To start off with, I think I should comment about Candace Owens being banned on Twitter for being a white supremacist, which, come on, we all knew that eventually was going to happen. I mean, of course she's a white supremacist. Just look at her. Candace Owens, goodbye. So much for fascists. I, like many of you, was shocked to hear that Parler had been banned for the second time, this time by Google CEO Sundar Pichai, preferred pronouns black fist emoji and the dollar symbol. I was upset when I heard the news through crazy right-wing conspiracy website thedailymail.uk, and my fears were not alleviated when I heard Pichai's statement on the matter. Due to their failure to moderate conversations for hate speech, we have blocked Parler's website from Google, he said. The platform is overrun with fascism, which we define as strong border security, love of country, worship of the Christian God, and being able to say the name Trump without fainting. Pichai's statement was cut short as he began breathing very hard and was ushered off stage by helpful staff. Assistant CEO and local Irishman Barry O'Donnell stepped forth to finish the explanation. We here at Google are concerned by the collusion of government with social media companies, O'Donnell said firmly. Spectators let him be clear as he continued. Mr. Trump, the former president, was removed from Twitter for a reason. He's hateful, not loving and inclusive like the other political movements in this country are, whose names are mainly acronyms. The press broke into applause, many reporters commenting that the intelligent spokesman should run for office, while Hank Berian of the Daily Wire scratched his head, wondering why the stranger seemed familiar. But all is not lost. Barrier's boss, the one and only Ben Shapiro, has made an announcement. He will be teaming up his company with Parler, financially backing the social media platform along with Jeremy Boring. Matt Walsh, and that little skinny guy that wrote a book once. I am very excited to announce that the Daily Wire and Parler will be joining together in the struggle for free speech, Shapiro said live on his show. And we already have our first sponsor. Don't leave your home unattended. Buy Ring today. Dennis Prager said on his show that he wishes to help Shapiro and Parler in their endeavors. We're about to go to a commercial break, he said to a caller, Mike from Florida. I have a special announcement I will be giving later about the Daily Wire, but first I have to tell you about Relief Factor. Andrew Klavan will also be taking a role in the revival of Parler. Liberals who join the site will watch in horror as Klavan replies to every one of their parlays with reminders that there are no E's in Klavan.